All right, welcome to this afternoon's masterclass. We're so excited to have you here. This is the first time during a Kaleidoscope that we've tried a live masterclass. So forgive us just our tardiness in getting everybody's sound working just perfectly. I want to take a moment to introduce our master teacher for today, Dr. Julia Heinen. Julia is a long-standing member of the International Clarinet Association and has served numerous ways for our organization. We're so incredibly grateful. And she is a professor of music at California State Northridge. She has performed all over the world, including Italy, Belgium, Hungary, Poland, France, El Salvador, the Czech Republic, Spain, Portugal. She's been worldwide and heard clarinetists from all over. We can't thank her enough for agreeing to teach this class today. So please welcome Julia Heinen.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and I cannot wait to hear our fantastic performers.
All right, we might jump to the second performer on the program. Our first performer is having some sound troubles. So if you see something cueing you to leave to a breakout room, that is actually for the performers to go make sure that everything's working before we get started with Dr. Doyle. So if it's okay, we'll jump to our second performer.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, Divya, we can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Divya Kumar. I am a junior at Riverville High School from Clarksville, Maryland, and I will be playing Rose Etude number 5 in G major.
Divya, that was terrific.
Thank
Such
you.
great playing. Tell me what you like about this etude.
I really like flowing that it has, like the downward especially, I feel like you can really dig in those.
Hmm. I do too. Tell me one other thing you like about it.
I also really like the sustating of things, like the slower pacing. I feel like it allows me to just like stretch it, like kind of like take like coffee. I feel like it just like is really relaxing in a sense.
Hmm. I agree. Um, I really loved the way you kept the motion going in the etude and really that it had a purpose and it sounded terrific and really polished. And your sound was really homogeneous all the way through. The kind of interesting thing about slow etudes is when we see fast notes, because we're clarinet players, we want to make them sound like they're fast. And so I'm going to say maybe we could think about all of those things that are really 16th notes and 32nd notes and 16th note triplets and things like that, that we make them sound slower than they actually are. So we're going to, I just want to do a couple things and work with you a little bit on creating some space in the time. So I'm not sure, I'm looking at the edition that was online for all the great, fantastic. Okay, so let's start. I want to start from the bottom. The third line from the bottom, the 1, 2, 3, the fourth measure in on your G. Okay, and so I want you to think about creating a little space. Let me demonstrate a little bit of it for you. So I'm going to create space with the 16th notes before the 30 seconds. So I do not want those 30-second notes to sound fast at all. So I've got to stretch the time before it. So make us wait for those 30-second notes and then don't play them fast. So try that. Really good, really good. I really liked that. And I especially like your second one more when you went up to the C. Can you make the D sound exactly like you did the C? Bum, yum, ba da 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 dum, yum. You took such beautiful amount of time on that. Really good. I want to do that kind of thing before that. So let's go from, oh, I want to do two other places. Let's go from the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth line down, starting right at the beginning of that line on the B natural. Really good, really good. I want you to take a little more time. So you're going to So I'm really going to borrow some time there. And just because they're 30-second notes doesn't mean they have to actually happen exactly in time. We're going to borrow a little time and then give it back at the end. So it shouldn't sound so entirely strict and in time. And we want more time to do the leaps. Just like you did on those high notes, the D and the C before. So much better. Try it again. I love that. really, that's very sophisticated. Okay, the last place that I want you to try with this kind of idea, trills are also considered fast notes. So we've got to make them sound not fast. And so I need you to take time at the beginning of all the trills. So when you do that, you're going to do. I don't want anything. If somebody came up to you after an etude like this and said, "Wow, I really liked your fast playing," that should never happen. They should think, "Wow, that was just so beautiful and it just sounded so peaceful, exactly like you said at the beginning." So anything that's fast, and trills tend to sound faster than they actually are. So I want you to start every trill under tempo. And the only part of the trill that's going to be fast is the second half of it or less than the second half of it. Try that with the pickup to the trills. I love that. Remember down on the third from the bottom line when you yum, boom, and you hung on to those high notes? I want you to do the same thing here. So all those trills are leading up to that, leap up to that high note, and don't get off of it too soon. Try that once more. I love that. That's very beautiful. Okay, so now I want to fix just two dynamics. And honestly, dynamics are something that, Rose gives us some suggestions for dynamics. And there's a lot of softer playing in this etude. And a place that I think shouldn't be soft is, do you see the fourth from the bottom line where it says well sustained? The well sustained refers to that mezzo forte that happens the pickup into this phrase. While we all want to play this soft because everything should be soft and it sounds so pretty, we actually have to make an effort to play this one much bigger and sustain that volume. And it's not an easy register for us to sustain volume. So we're going to keep that whole phrase on the mezzo forte and forte side of things. So when we do the pickup into the triplets, it sounds really mysterious and like it's coming from another room and we're just, I can hear that. It sets the next phrase up just beautifully. Okay, give that a try. So keep everything mezzo forte or forte. I love it. Okay. Another way we're going to sustain, I know, this always happens to me. It's like at the worst time I get water in a key. So welcome to the club. You're part of us now. All right. So in addition to sustaining the volume, we're going to sustain it with time. So it actually sounds louder than everything else around it, but it also sounds broader. So I'm going to go from the 3 pickups and I'm going to start slowing down. I can use those triplets to get myself back into tempo. See if you can create more time there. Okay, let me hear you.
Really?
Sorry.
Okay, that's good.
Great. Okay, I love that. And the last thing I want to work with you on, and I just want to do a couple places, but then I want you to think about it. Last notes of phrases. And you're such an advanced player, that you're thinking about, oh, I've got to get on to the next phrase. Resist that urge. So I want you to actually take the time to finish the last note. So, for example, fourth from the bottom line, that second measure in, where we have the three eighth note pickups, well, that eighth note before it is actually the end of that phrase. So, I'm actually going to take the time to end that. And you're doing such a great job, but you get to the end, that last note. And you kind of chop it off a little bit. And nobody's rushing you. And boom, but so put a bow on the end of that note. Tie it off, finish it off, and then come back in. That was perfect. That was perfect. Let's do a couple others. So, can we do? I want to do the last phrase of before we get into the B section. So we are from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down. The last measure of that line is the end of a big phrase. Let's go, how about the 2 beats, or how about 3 beats before that on that E?
On the,
See,
oh, yep.
yeah, great. Okay, I want to make sure that you play that quarter note full value, and then we actually have the silence as part of the phrase. So, okay, so don't rush through that quarter note. Hang on to it until beat 2 starts, and then make sure beat 2 is completely silent. Okay, try that again. Great. So I wanted you to do it once more, and now I want you to retard a little more into that. Bom, ba da da ya da 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 dum 2. Bom, bom, bom. And then we'll do a subito tempo when you get to the pickups. Terrific, terrific. Do you have any questions for me about this? I could work on this with you for the next 2 hours. You sound terrific on it.
I want to sustain the lower end, especially in growth modes. 'Cause one thing I've struggled with that is trying to get it to come out. I don't want it to be airy. And there's also intonation issues. So I'm trying to use fingerings on the bottom like that can also cause sometimes.
So give me an example of a great question, and I bet a lot of people have that same question. Give me a specific example.
Maybe like the last three measures.
Okay, let's hear that. Really good. Okay, repeated notes are like long notes. Okay, when we repeat notes, just like if we have a long note, like let's say if we're in the middle of a phrase with a long half note or dotted half or a whole note, we have to give it some direction. It has to have some shape, or it sounds like it doesn't go anywhere. And all notes should be going somewhere. Every so often there'll be a very special effect where you want it to sound like it's not going anywhere. Well, that's just every so often we use that. So when we're going to sustain notes like this, so if I were to grade out like the dynamics, like let's say on that G, that half note, okay, I crescendoed into the G. So the downbeat of the half note, let's say, was mezzo piano. The next quarter beat of that half note was mezzo piano minus. The next quarter beat of that was the mezzo piano minus minus. The next, so I'm like grading it down. I like to think about dynamics instead of using mezzo piano and mezzo forte and things like that. I actually like to think about them like numbers. So I would think like, okay, on the beginning of that G, I'm going to be a 4. And then next eighth of that G, I'm going to be a 3. And then beat 2, I'm going to be a 2. And then the and of beat 2, I'm going to be a 1. And then when I get to the next quarter note G's, I'm going to be like bum, bum, bum. So I would be, let's say, 2, 3, and then that fourth quarter note, 4, 5. And then at the beginning of the whole note, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'd be grading the dynamics like that. You can hook it up to your subdivision, which makes it really easy. Oh, I'm going to see the shape here. And so you want to shape the dynamics at the subdivision level. So if you're subdividing, I'm assuming you're subdividing eighth notes here?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. So grade your dynamics. If you're hanging on to 2 eighth note subdivisions, the same dynamic, something's wrong. So it has to have motion, just like waves in the ocean. A wave never comes in at the same, it changes and grows and then stills down. So that's exactly the way dynamics are. You know, when I first did this etude, and for many years, I used to think that the piano and then the pianissimo were marked in the wrong place. And I would do the piano at the 3/8 note pick or the 3/4 note pickups. But since then, I've actually come to a different realization. Those 3/4 notes should diminish into the piano, and the next 3/4 notes should diminish into the pianissimo to give it that kind of shape to it. Does that make sense? Okay, great question. And you sound terrific. Thanks for playing.
Thank you so much for the feedback. I really appreciate it.
Sure, my pleasure.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, both Julia and Divya. Julia, one thing. When the students are asking their questions or when someone else is talking, if you can try to mute, we're having a hard time hearing when they're talking directly to you. When they're playing, everything's great.
Yeah, and I'm trying to mute and then go back and forth between, I've got like music and muting and all on one little computer, but I'll make a better effort.
You're doing fantastic. Both of you are. All right, so our first performer, we had some sound issues, so I just wanted to see if we are ready to go on that.
Yeah, it's working better now.
Awesome. Well, if you're ready, then we will just jump. Everybody looking at the program, we're going back to our first performer on the class right now. Thank you so much, both of you.
Terrific job. Terrific job. Is it Junya?
Junya, yeah.
Junya. Great. Hey, tell me what does this sound like to you?
Sounds like a garden to me.
I love that image. Tell me what's in your garden.
Um, I feel like there's a small pond and rows of flowers growing all around that pond, and they're all in the middle of blooming.
So, what time of year is it? I love that image. And what kind of flowers?
I think it's around the beginning of spring, and the kinds of flowers, I feel like there are all different kinds of flowers.
I love that image. I totally agree. It sounds to me like wildflowers in the spring, and there's like no rhyme or reason for why they're there or how they were planted, but it's so beautiful because of the chaos and the randomness of it. But it's not like going into like an English garden where everything's planned out. Roses are here, and this sounds more carefree, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put that attitude into your playing. I'm going to ask you, um, let's be a little more spring-like with the tempo. How about? Right now it sounds a little bit like we're closing down, like fall. So the flowers are dying off and falling into the ground. Let's put it like we're looking forward. So I want your tempo to go a little bit forward, a little bit faster, and we're going to let the quick notes fall into the eighth note. So your 16th is going to go fall into the eighth notes a little bit. So hang on, I'm going to unmute myself without my finger here.
Okay.
Okay, because I can't play the clarinet and hold down the space bar. So I wanted you to think about this kind of a tempo. Kind of a more carefree, like there's a gentle breeze coming through our garden, and we're just sitting out there and we're listening to the pond, and we're smelling the spring flowers, and it's a real carefree kind of day. What day of the week is it?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, why do you say Tuesday? That's an interesting thing. To me it's a Saturday, but why would you say Tuesday?
I honestly don't have any rhyme or reason to that. It feels like a Tuesday. It just
Great.
feels like to me.
And to me, I know what you mean. Like Tuesday to me feels okay. I've got the week started and it's kind of nice and relaxed. It's not like Friday where I'm like, oh, please get the weekend has to get here. But it's kind of more carefree and wow, this is really fun. It's the middle of the week. There's no pressure. So I'll go with your Tuesday thing and I'm going to rethink my Saturday. I think you might be right with the Tuesday. So let's move the tempo forward and let me hear you do the first, I think about 2 lines.
Okay.
I love that. That sounded terrific. How'd you feel about the faster tempo?
It definitely felt like what you were explaining, and yeah.
Good. I liked it too. I thought it gave it more motion, and your dynamics were actually much more expressive when you were going a little bit quicker. So, and I think about, when we see as any musician, adagio, we instantly think as slow as possible, but this one just says poco adagio. So just a little bit slow in that kind of way. Great. Now, let's deal with the articulation. Do you see when you have the accents down, the 3/4 notes that have accents?
Yeah.
Those we're going to articulate. So why would there be, do you think, a slur marking over accents?
Maybe play them connected.
Exactly right. They should be phrased together. So that becomes a phrase marking. But we really can't accent them unless we use an articulation sound. So let's go. Sorry, I'm like moving back and forth here. How about at the pick up to that second to last line on your F sharp, and then play the accented notes diminishing in volume into that piano.
Question. Which F sharp? The one right after the breath mark?
Hang on. The F, yes, the one right after the breath mark that's at the very last note of line 4.
Okay. Thank you.
I loved your articulation sound on the accent. Now, let's not make a tempo change so sudden. So, I started the first quarter note in the time that I was in, and then I started my retard. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, try that again. Really good, really good. I love that. Let's do the last. Let's actually go from those 3 quarter notes and finish the piece out. And your crescendo in the bottom line, that's the last thing I want to do. Your crescendo in the last line, I want you to think about that. That should get up to forte. Like the sun is coming into our garden and shining down, and it's really going to feel terrific. Really good. Do you have any questions about this etude?
No.
If you were teaching this etude, what do you think the hardest thing is?
Staying at a consistent tempo.
I agree. There's all these like tempo changes, right? So we want to set, and to me, the kind of the consistent tempo without, no retards or none of the alterations of the tempo. It's kind of like a tempo that we're just strolling around a park. So somewhere in the 76 to a quarter note range. Yeah, just to make it sound kind of casual, kind of not fast, not slow, but just kind of in the middle. And then there's all these things that draw us in when we have retards, and we're speeding up on occasion to get back to something. So I think you're right. I think the tempo changes, plus there's not a lot of time to do them, are great. But you're controlling it really well. Did you find that hard to do when you were first learning it?
Yeah.
How did you fix it?
Just I kept using a rough tempo and then playing part of it.
Great.
And then I was recording myself, and then I was trying to see how it matched up.
Wow. Can you talk to some of my students about that? That's great. I wish they would do the same thing. Anyways, you're doing great. This sounded terrific. Thank you for playing.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you both. I'm so happy that we got the sound working for that. That was That was really, really fun to hear you play and to see you guys work together. And now I want to go outside and get in a garden and find some sun. But first, we have one more performer today, our collegiate performer, Chris Maxwell. So we'll just make sure the sound is going, and we'll get started with our last performer.
Can everyone hear me? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Terrific playing, Chris. Sound great on this. How long did it take you to learn it?
I think I learned it over the process of like a couple of weeks, maybe
Good.
3 weeks.
Yeah, and Zsa Zsa etudes are hard, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about this etude.
Well, I like how it's very plaintive and almost like a folkish melody. And then it goes into this frontier area in a slightly different key, like a minor key. And then I love this more militaristic part, the Pokemon, rehearsal 16. Yeah, I just like how it goes multiple places.
Have you thought about what the form is in this? And there's a couple of answers that you could give. So don't and or no answer. I don't. But I kind of. What?
Sorry.
Oh no, you go.
My first thought would maybe be Sonata Allegro, since it has an exposition and recapitulation, and then it kind of doubles the minor.
I agree. I can see that form in there. Jean-Jacques kind of clever like Beethoven. He likes to combine forms. So what gives this etude a kind of interesting thing is if you think about it as a theme and variations. So let's go with okay. So you know your beautiful theme at the beginning that where you're keeping it in we could tell where the dotted half notes were in that it felt like it was in 2. Great. So let's go to variation 1, which is the triplet variation. Okay, and so actually, I want you to do the first 4 measures for me, and then we're going to jump to that triplet variation. But you know, like theme and variations, we want to establish this tempo, and then we want the variations to sound like they're getting quicker until we get to the minor variation where it gets slower. And then we do the final variation, and he actually marks this. It should be at the tempo 1, you know, that he's got, which is not our opening tempo. It's that moving tempo. Okay, so do the first 4 bars for me. Great. Chris, can you do the accompaniment line for us?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Great. I want you to move the tempo a little bit quicker on this because it's hard to feel the 2 when we're just a little bit below. So how about something around no slower than 56 to the dotted half. So hang on, I got to metronome right here. Got that? Let's try that tempo. I love that. That sounds great. So if we go into the thought that this is a theme and variations, not everything has to be at the same tempo. So let's jump to the triplets now, the variation 1 there. Really good. Can you play just the first of each of the triplets, but get it to feel like it's in 3? So just play the first of each of the triplets. So we're hearing 3/4 notes instead of 9 notes. That's terrific. Exactly like that. Can you get it to move 1 hair faster? Bum, 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 bum. Terrific. Let's put the triplets back in there, but at that tempo. Terrific. Really, within about 20 minutes of practicing, you could have it sound like that. Now, I'm going to ask you a question about the dynamics. It starts and it's marked poco forte, but what's this marked? The opening is poco forte, and this, great. Which one's louder and which one's not?
I would say probably the poco.
Great, I agree. Let's cut the dynamic level on this one because it sounds too close to the other one. And it also sounds louder because we've got a lot more notes. So can you play this one down a little bit towards mezzo, not mezzo forte, but mezzo?
Okay.
I love that. I love that. That's way better. And we want it to just sound like it's ba-da-da, 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 like it's kind of fluttery, you know, and it's landing on top. It's like leaves in the wind. Okay, now let's go to the, you know, and that's kind of more of a ballerina-like thing. Well, we're going to go to the next variation, which is really the pick up to 12, that is. This is when the male ballerina gets, or male ballet dancer gets to come out and demonstrate these big leap kind of things. So it's much bigger. It's the largest dynamic that we've had so far, and it's got to sound really you know, all these syncopations. It's really interesting. So make it forte plus. I love that. Can you get the can you get the into the second phrase of that? Do something, you know, to make it sound like it's, you know, star male dancers are very it needs to sound like it looks like Baryshnikov is dancing. Very, we've been waiting for 2 acts for him to come out, and there he is. So take your time on that. Try that again. That's great. I like that. Try it again. So ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum. You're not going to do any slowing down until really the 4 notes that lead into the return. And do it without a breath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So great. And I loved your rallentando then. That really fit in. Just a couple other things, you know, and you did that perfectly. You know, there's that comma there, and that should mean time. There's a couple other places where you have commas where you're not letting there be time. And you absolutely can. So on the first page of this etude, there's space. God, I can't even read those numbers. See the last line of the first page?
Yes.
Okay, see that comma at the bar line? And then there's a subito piano, and then there's a comma at the bar line?
Yes.
Yeah, I want you to take all those commas. So can you go from number 7, really adhering to the commas, and then, so that means time, and then those sudden dynamic changes. I really liked it. Can you now prepare some time into the commas so it's going to sound like what I want you to retard into the end of every one of those measures. It should sound like something we haven't heard before. Excellent playing. Chris, do you have any questions about this etude for me?
I don't think so.
You sound terrific on it, and this is a really difficult and complicated etude. I mean, Jaja, we always think, well, they're just hard to play. They're also sophisticatedly complicated to figure out what's actually going on, but you're doing a great job with this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for playing.
Bravo to Christopher and all of our masterclass performers. And let's give a virtual round of applause to Dr. Julia Heinen for her class today. It was wonderful to be able to see you teach and to just get to hear some of your Julia-isms that I'm going to be using in the future. Our next session is a live session, and there's a link in the chat for it. It starts at 2:30 p.m. and it will have Jonathan Kohler and David Cook. So we're looking very forward to that. I hope you guys can take just a couple minutes break. I'm sorry, I said 2:30 because I'm in Central Time. 3:30 Eastern Time for the next live class. We're so excited that you guys are here. Please go get a drink of water and stretch your legs and join us again at 3:30 Eastern Time. Thank you, everybody.